Right now, at every major airport in Australia, there is a short list of things you are completely allowed to ask for. A personal escort through security, a discreet signal that tells staff you might need a little patience without you having to explain yourself to a single person, equipment worth hundreds of dollars carried for free, and in at least one city, a genuine discount that most seniors never think to apply for. The airlines and the airports are not hiding any of this, but almost none of it happens automatically. It happens only when you know it exists and ask for it specifically. Today, I am giving you all 7, exactly what is real, exactly how to ask, and one of them is going to surprise you in a way you will not expect, because it is not good news at all. Stay to the end for that one. Let's start with the one that unlocks the most. Because most people think it only applies if you're in a wheelchair. It doesn't. Under the accessibility rules, Qantas and Jetstar both operate under. If you need a hand getting through the airport, you can request special assistance and it costs nothing. That covers far more than people assume. Tired legs on a long walk to a far gate, difficulty managing bags through a crowded terminal, or simply wanting someone alongside you rather than navigating alone. You don't need a doctor's letter and you don't need to justify it beyond asking. The way it actually works is that airlines use specific codes on your booking. You'll sometimes hear staff refer to them as WCOCHAR, WCHC, which simply tell the airline how much help to arrange, from a bit of guidance through security to a full escort with a wheelchair. The move, request it when you book, using the words, "I'd like to arrange special assistance for my flight." If you've already booked, call the airline and ask them to add it. Do this a few days ahead if you can, so it's arranged and waiting rather than something you're negotiating for at the counter on the day. Perk number 2 is something almost nobody realises already exists in this country. The Hidden Disabilities Sunflower Lanyard. It's a simple green lanyard covered in yellow sunflowers, and you can pick one up for free at Sydney, Melbourne, Brisbane and Hobart airports right now. Here's what it's actually for. Not every difficulty is visible. Arthritis that makes it slow and painful to get things out of a bag at security. Hearing loss that means you might miss a boarding call. Anxiety in a crowded terminal, or simply the fatigue a long travel day puts on an older body. None of that shows on the outside, so the lanyard shows it for you, quietly, without you needing to explain yourself to every staff member you encounter. Staff at these airports are trained to recognise it and respond with a little more patience and a little more time. Now, here's the honest part, because I want to be accurate rather than oversell this one. The lanyard does not automatically get you to the front of the line or a personal escort. What it does is make an invisible difficulty visible at a glance, so staff know to help where they can. The move. At the airport, go to the assistance or information desk and simply ask, "Could I have a hidden disabilities lanyard, please?" That's the whole process. No form, no proof required. Now for the one that can mean real money. And it comes with more paperwork than people expect, so let's get it right. Your medical equipment can fly separately from your normal luggage allowance. On Qantas, a CPAP machine for sleep apnea doesn't need advance approval, though it's worth carrying a short letter from your doctor confirming it's prescribed, since it removes any argument at the counter. If you need a portable oxygen concentrator, that one does need paperwork in advance, specifically a travel clearance form submitted before you fly, so this isn't a same-day request. And mobility aids get their own real benefit. You can carry 2 of them as checked baggage free of charge on top of your normal luggage allowance. There's one catch worth knowing before it catches you. If the mobility aid is battery powered, only one travels free, and it needs dangerous goods approval from the airline at least 5 days before departure. Picture someone who's flown for years assuming their walker or their CPAP eats into their baggage allowance the same as a suitcase would, and has been quietly paying an extra checked bag fee every trip because of it. On a lot of routes, an extra checked bag runs $30 to $50 or more each way. So someone flying a couple of times a year for years, wrongly paying that fee on equipment that was never supposed to count as luggage at all, has handed over a genuinely significant amount of money for something that should have been free the whole time. The move. Flag your equipment when you book, not the day you fly. For a CPAP, bring the doctor's letter. For an oxygen concentrator or a battery-powered mobility aid, get the paperwork moving at least 5 days out, because this is the one perk on this list where waiting until the airport costs you the benefit entirely. Perk number 4 is where I need to be honest with you, because this is genuinely a mixed bag, depending on which city you fly from, and one of them will surprise you. In Melbourne, seniors and concession card holders get 50% off every fare across the entire Myki public transport network, which covers getting to and from Melbourne Airport. That's a real, meaningful saving, and it applies automatically once your concession is set up on the card. Picture a couple who fly out of Melbourne a few times a year to visit family interstate, each of them tapping on and off with a concession Myki instead of a full fare one. Half the fare, every trip, both directions, for as long as they keep flying. It's not a one-off windfall. It's the same discount quietly repeating on every single journey, which is exactly the kind of saving that's easy to miss because no single trip feels significant on its own. In Sydney, the picture is more complicated. The Gold Opal card caps a senior's daily travel at $2.50, but you have to apply for it online before you travel. It isn't available to buy at the airport itself, so this is not a same-day fix. And then there's the one that will genuinely surprise you. In Brisbane, the AirTrain service to and from the airport specifically excludes pensioner concession card, seniors card and veteran affairs card holders from its concession fare. Most people assume a concession card works everywhere public transport does. In this one case, on this one service, it doesn't. The move. If you're flying from Melbourne, get your concession loaded onto Myki before you travel. 5 minutes once, savings every trip after. If you're flying from Sydney, apply for your Gold Opal online well ahead of your trip, not the week you're flying. And if you're flying from Brisbane, know going in that the AirTrain concession you might be expecting simply isn't there, so budget for the full fare rather than being caught out at the gate. Now, something for anyone flying alone, where I want to give you the honest picture rather than a blanket promise. If you're travelling by yourself and would feel better having a family member or friend with you as far as the gate, it's genuinely worth asking your airline directly whether an escort or gate pass can be arranged. This is clearly confirmed for travellers with a genuine disability or mobility need. The same accessibility framework that covers special assistance extends to this. What's less clear is whether every airline offers it as a routine courtesy for anyone simply feeling anxious about flying alone, regardless of disability. The honest move here is to ask early, be specific about why you'd like the support, and treat a yes as a genuine possibility, rather than an entitlement you're owed outright, since this is one where policies clearly vary. Perk number 6 is one people assume they always have to pay for. They don't, always. If you'd like an aisle seat so you can get up and move without climbing over anyone, or a seat with a little extra leg room, you can ask for it at check-in or at the gate, and staff have the discretion to give it to you at no charge when those seats haven't already been booked. This isn't a paid upgrade you're requesting. It's a polite, specific ask for a seat that makes the flight easier on your body, and gate staff who deal with this all day very often say yes when there's an empty aisle seat sitting there anyway. The move. Ask at check-in first, and if nothing's available, ask again politely at the gate, where seat maps often open up in the last few minutes before boarding. And finally, perk number 7, which connects directly back to the first one. Most major Australian airports, Melbourne, Sydney, Gold Coast and Launceston among them, run a dedicated security screening lane specifically for travellers who need a little more time or support. These lanes are staffed by officers trained to help you through calmly rather than the flow of the main queue, which is exactly where the stress of flying tends to live for a lot of older travellers. The crowd pressing in behind you, the rush to get your bag emptied into the tray, the worry that you're holding up the line while you deal with your shoes and your coat. The dedicated lane is built to be the opposite of that. Nobody's rushing you, and the staff there expect you to need a moment. If you've arranged special assistance, you're very often directed straight to this lane as part of that service. And if you haven't arranged it in advance, you can still simply tell the screening officer you'd like a little extra time and ask to be directed to the family or assisted lane. The move. If you've booked special assistance, expect this lane. If you haven't, Ask for it directly rather than assuming the main queue is your only option. So here's the honest shape of flying after 60 in this country. None of these 7 are tricks or loopholes. They're published, real entitlements and services sitting there for the asking. And the reason most people never use them isn't that they're hidden. It's that nobody ever lines all 7 up in one place before the trip. 2 of them save you real money. 1 of them removes real stress without you having to explain yourself to anyone. And 1, the Brisbane Airtrain one, is worth knowing precisely so it doesn't catch you off guard. 2 honest notes before you go. First, airline and airport policies can change, and some of what's covered here is granted at an individual airline's discretion, so confirm the current details with your specific airline and airport before you fly, especially anything involving medical equipment paperwork or advance approval. Second, this is general information, not personal advice. Which of these 7 genuinely apply to you depends on your own health, your travel plans, and which airport and airline you're using, so this is exactly the kind of thing worth confirming directly before your next trip. If any of these 7 surprised you, tell me in the comments which one. It helps me know what to cover next. Take care, and I'll see you in the next one.